Last week, the energy sector. This week, public transport. France's 4-month-old national strike movement against planned reforms to the labour law has hit the railways. Leading the strikes is France's biggest trade union, the CGT. An international view, perhaps, would be that this is very much a picture of France playing up to the stereotype of the lazy French worker determined to have his rights protected.
Well, it's the role of trade unions to protect the rights or the advantages of its members. That's why they pay subscriptions. It's about the equilibrium of management to workers. But the idea of French being lazy, well, productivity in France is reasonably high. So there is a stereotype, but whether it's true or not.
The unions have taken their fight against the government to the barricades in recent weeks in violent confrontations with the police. They reject government claims that a more flexible labour market would mean more jobs, with employers better able to fire workers, making them in turn more likely to hire them in the first place. This man, who preferred not to give us his name, is 27 and among France's 24% unemployed youth. He's not convinced by the government's reforms either.
Well, it might create more competition and productivity, but people will just stamp on each other. They won't help each other anymore. It'll be more like a pool of sharks. I remain optimistic, but in the future, in terms of work, I know it's going to get harder and harder.
The government faces opposition on all fronts, and with the European Football Championships kicking off in France next week, the pressure to back down is immense. So, on the one hand, a country preparing to showcase the very best of European football. On the other, preparing to welcome millions of football fans with strikes and protests. The contradiction is hard to miss, with one national French newspaper saying that France's reputation is being degraded. Our neighbours in Europe, it says, can't understand a country so unwilling to accept even the mildest reforms. Jonah, Al Jazeera, Paris.